All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Peter. How you doing today?
Well, good morning, Carlos. How are you?
Doing good, my
I, I,
friend.
it's one of those. I forgot to mute things, so I had you in triplicate, and it was very disturbing. I mean, it was
Uh,
wonderful to hear so many of your
I'm
voices,
sure
but
disturb was the right word the first time around,
well,
especially this
it's
early this
it's
morning.
that yeah, because they're all just slightly out of sync. So it was, anyways, freaking me out, man. All right, good morning. Yes, it's still cold here. I don't what the heck. This weather is crazy.
Yes,
Uh,
yes,
it's
it
just
is.
I can't wait. It's supposed to get warm again for tomorrow. So, anyways, that'll make me happier. But in the meantime, I'll deal with it.
You know what you could do, Peter? We can fix this very, very quickly with a nice glass of whiskey if you have there. So, if there's troubles, we can come up with a new line for you on AMD that you can take a shot on, right? So, do you want to do 106? Because we might hit that today.
I, I, I think people were suggesting 110. I mean, I got to be careful here. I'm going to get in trouble at the home front if I start drinking middle of the day. So,
We can
but
definitely move this up to 110. So we'll move that up as we go here. We'll find a spot for it. But there you have it, guys. Let's get into what's happening here. Yesterday, what a day. And as the title suggests on YouTube, again, just things just started rallying. And as you're hearing the news channels and everything else going on, and the radio and CNN and CNBC, not every news you could possibly get your hands on, there was nobody really firm on what the reason was, right? So it was just overall market just doing its thing. Some people feel it's the the debt ceiling is more of a guarantee it's gonna get resolved before the deadline. Others feel that inflation might be coming down, heading in the right direction. Just so many different things that are happening, but there was no definite one single thing that actually created this move yesterday, which provided tons of opportunity. We'll talk a little bit more about this in the market pulse. Peter will dive into that. But taking a look at yesterday's action, if we look here, we'll start with Nvidia. I mean, it was just long. Everything was long, 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 right from the bell. There was really no other movements. Nvidia took a bit to get going here, like some stocks did, but then eventually it was just grabbing onto that nine moving average, testing the 20, and just going northeast, which was real, real nice. So AMD here, AMD did drop. So you had AMD had a nice drop here, but again, then said, okay, this is what we're doing. We're going northeast today, and it follows suit as well. So very nice play there. Tons of volume as usual. Here's Tesla. What was that? There we go. That's more like it. Tesla, same thing, guys. Really, really strong. Got so extended so fast here in the first half of the day that probably had no choice to go sideways for the second half. But again, an amazing move. 167 all the way to 174 nonstop there. So that was nice. I mean, you just pick whatever ticker you had, except Apple. Oh, I didn't notice. Look at Apple. Apple actually did not was not drinking the Kool-Aid yesterday. So you can see that they did not get a huge pop on there. But yeah, all the tech companies, the big ones, were doing very, very well. Amazon here, yeah, this is horrible. I didn't really see this price action. This that looks very, very bad compared to how things were trading yesterday. Now, let's give Amazon credit. They've been just crushing it, right? They've been doing very well. So maybe some of these stocks that were a little bit more on the extended side, just kind of take a break, right? If you see Apple here, they've been doing so well over the last couple of days. So maybe, to do a third day like this would have been a little too much for them. But either way, great day. Hope you had a great day. Market gappers list today. As you can see, we have a few things on the green and the red side of things here. The names again continue to be the same names over and over again. Sella, we looked at before, Trace Horrible. These regional banks, WAL on here, Pac W back on deck, both up today, 6% and 3% this morning. So that's nice. Maybe it's everything, all the bad stuff behind them. We'll dive into that. And then some other ones out here that I never heard of. Costco we know very well, ST Anderson, Traywell, but we'll go through this. We got a nice list on both sides, at least as far as numbers on gapping up or down. With that, Peter, let's take it to the market pulse. What's going on there today?
well, let's start globally today and move closer. So around the world, we're seeing generally green markets. Things are calm. I don't see really a lot of big movement out there, so that's good. Here, moving closer then to North America, slightly green overall in the markets. Not really a big day for news, as you can see. A number of news events. The initial jobless claims already came out. It was down 22,000 from the last number. So jobless claims were at 242,000 versus an estimate of 255,000. So I don't know what that means really, because that's good for the economy, but they don't want to. Nobody wants to ruin the hawkish, views we've been having from the Fed recently, because everybody wants to see those interest rates drop. So if the labor market starts to heat up again, that's an inflationary issue, and the concern would be that the Fed would react and continue to raise interest rates. But so far, right, not a huge reaction. You can see that the SPY at 8 o'clock sort of did this big bump, but at 8:30 when that news came out, really didn't have much of a news. What you should look for is that at 10 o'clock, we do have the existing home sales and the U.S. Economic health numbers that come out. So because that's happening at 10, we've seen reaction from the market to these things. So just be aware, as I say all the time, if you're in a trade or looking at a trade, just the market may make a jump like it did at 8. Right. So be aware that that type of reaction can happen, because the computers are going to react to whatever the number is, whether it's right or wrong. Right. And like Carlos is showing you on the screen, well, I mean, look at that candle, right? If you're in a nice trade and suddenly, it just goes crazy like that, you don't want to get smacked by a stop if you're not prepared for it. So just be ready that there could be some, like a similar type candle movement right at 10. So that's what we got for the economic news. We're at the tail end of earnings season. Like I mentioned, well, Carlos was mentioning, we've got a couple of things that have earnings today that we'll take a look at. I mean, overall, like I was saying yesterday, the markets are they're pretty calm and stable. Really, because everybody's been waiting for this debt ceiling issue to be resolved. Now, the general sentiment is that the debt ceiling is going to be resolved. The U.S. will pay their debts. It's not a question of if they'll do it. It's just a question of the arm wrestling that they've got to go through to determine what the budgetary levels are going to be agreed to and who's getting what, right? So this is the typical gyrations they go through, especially when you got a division between Senate and House, and it's really just political machinations there in Washington. But if that news changes, right, if suddenly people lose confidence that that debt ceiling will get appropriately moved by the deadline, hang on to your hats, because that's when the market will get a little funky. But we don't expect that to happen. Hopefully we'll see continued sort of calm market behavior at least through Friday, and then into next week once this thing gets fixed. So let's take a look at what is moving today.
All right, excellent. Guys, let's take a look at our gappers list here, and we'll go ahead and remove our stuff from yesterday. Control A, Control X gets rid of that. And then let's take a look at the first one. Gapping up this morning, TT. Looks like this list got a little smaller from what we looked earlier, or we saw earlier. All right, TT.
We got a bunch of stuff that's hanging right around the 2% mark. So not a lot of big gappers. That's why. So they're bopping on and off the list.
Yeah. So here is TTWO. Man, this thing is up 13.4, 191,000 shares traded. I have not seen what the news is on this one. This is a gaming stock, right? Is it
It is Take-Two Interactive. I tend to think of EA, Electronic Arts, in the same vein as them. But anyways, Take-Two had earnings after hours yesterday. They beat their numbers, so and that's seen as positive. You notice the volume's pretty low here, so not a huge reaction really. It's up a big percentage wise, but not with a strong volume. So I don't know what to expect when the open hits. I'll watch it. If at 9 o'clock it's still about the same level, I'm going to actually take it off my list. But being that we don't have that much here, I'll put it on a secondary.
Yeah. I like as for a secondary. I like this pop. This is a big gap up today, 13.3. And they are not selling off, at least just yet. So it could be interesting. TTWO. Just be mindful of the spread on this one, and you really got to get the volume right. So two things to look out for here. A spread on this of 10 cents. Actually, on this ticker, 10 cents is not bad. It might sound horrible, but this is not a AMD app where you're going to get a penny, 2 penny spread. It's not the way it works on this one. Here's a couple of retail banks. We got PACW. Again, just making our gap up list, but not really moving a whole lot, right? Just still hanging out here around this 590, 570, 580. Really hasn't pulled away from that. There hasn't been any major news to get this going. So I don't think this is really in play, and it's easy for this thing to throw, a couple of 1.7 million shares at a stock that's $6. So again, nothing really there to see. If we look at WAL, it's same
We're seeing
situation. Yeah,
yeah, you can see PACW and Western Alliance as always leading the charge here. PACW with a lot more volume. There seems to be a little more comfort from institutional investors that they're sort of bottom feeding now, right? They're seeing an opportunity, looking to take positions as they feel that the stability is back in the regional banks, or at least the high risk period is over. Like Carlos, like you were saying, I mean, it's you see 1.7 million shares, and then I was like, oh my god, this must be awesome. And then I look at it, I'm like, huh, like where were those shares exactly? Like I'm so there's a lot
yeah.
of backroom trading going on because I don't see it really. I don't see that volume on the chart, so it doesn't really look that good. But you know, it's moving.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, 1.7, I don't see that here besides this one candle, 348, 250. So, who knows what's happening in the back end? Again, I don't like these, so I'm gonna just keep doing what I'm doing, stay away from them for now. Let's take a look at it. BEKE this morning, they're up 4%, 597,000 shares traded. Man, horrible pre-market action. You got the volume here, but again, I'm not seeing anything great on it. Any news? They were as high as 1740 here, so they definitely got some movement. Oh, market earnings this morning. There we go.
This is a real estate company out of China. And remember, we had some big real estate issues last year out of China with their major, like the largest real estate fund, sort of issuing some defaults. Uh, but it seems like that's settled. So this BEKE, which is KE Holdings, did have earnings. Generally, good numbers against the earnings. Don't get a lot of detail, frankly, when you get earnings in some cases, especially on some of these Chinese stocks. So not really a lot this morning, other than it had earnings. And I believe, if I'm not wrong, I think this is also dual traded. So you just be aware of that and be cautious if you're looking at it. I've completely avoided it. I think I tried to watch it once or twice and never liked the price action.
All right, gotcha, my friend. I'm not a fan of it. At once we were trading it okay, and then I remember Brian trading this one quite a bit. But yeah, recently, no, it has not been great. So we'll skip on this one. Let's take a look here at I think that covers our gap up list, guys. So again, not coming off with a lot there. The best one, TTWO. Oh, BBWI came up now, and again, just getting over 100,000. It is up 12%. A stock that doesn't get much volume. Oh, this is Bath and Body Works. Yeah, they don't trade very well. We've seen them on
No.
our list before. I just didn't recall the ticker here. And not showing what is it the reason today. It's a good reason that if you're not going bankrupt, you're a retailer. It's a good reason to be moving up to begin with. Um,
Yeah, we have to make
yeah,
sure that we're not confusing them with Bed Bath and Beyond because that would
yeah,
be a little
yeah.
unfair to them. They
It
are
will be
not at risk of default. Bath and Body Works, people love their smelling salts and fancy potions and
candles,
stuff.
right?
Anyways,
Candles too. Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, look, they had a couple of small bits of news over the last week. A dividend that was announced. They did have their earnings, which is why you were seeing it poke up here. Generally, positive earnings results, but you got to be careful. I find like this is one example of one where when you get low volume like this, like look at the average daily volume. It's pretty low in terms of how many shares is actually trading, and the price movement is actually fairly low. So I just I don't know. Like I'd like to think that today's going to be a lovely day for it, but even pre-market, look at how around 7:30 we got that whole period where like nothing was traded for about half an hour, and then suddenly you get some volume in it again. So again,
Yeah.
maybe a secondary list if we're really struggling to find things, but there's probably going to be better targets.
Yeah, this is why, and I mentioned it before in this week. The turbo breakup, turbo breakdown scanners are amazing because you can put this over on a secondary list if we don't have anything, right? And if you see it on the
Yeah.
scanners, if you see BBWI, but you knew at least the initial setup looked interesting, and now you're getting the volume. That's one you might want to take a look at. So, looks like volume might be picking up here a little bit. Might be interesting. I mean, it's a big gap up. I like this 13% that we're getting here. possible just because there's not a whole lot going on before our usual suspects come
Uh,
in here and start taking all the spots.
yeah,
Um,
I'll give you some better ones that aren't on the list yet, but let's get
yeah,
through the gap down and then we can go
absolutely.
there.
Absolutely. All right, gap down, guys. APDL, APLD, actually, APLD. What do we have going on here? Apply Digital Corporation. Yeah, so down 6.7 doesn't look like it trades well. The float on this
So
bad boy is going to be actually 51. It's not a low float. But yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with this one. Doesn't look good right now.
no, if you look at this is really just a pullback after the jump it had like 2 days ago that was continued yesterday. And what happened 2 days ago? Well, they announced that they signed their very first customer for their AI service. You just had to say AI, and look what happened. It jumped up. This is
Yes.
really just a natural pullback from that initial excitement.
All right, there you have it, guys. Um, eh, Again, not really interested in this one. I think we'll find better things to look at. CSCO this morning. This is Cisco Systems, and they are down 4.3, 444,000 shares traded. The only time I see this, and I'm going to take a guess, is earnings because it's the only time that we really look at it. Let's see here. Oh, actually, earnings was yesterday, so I'm not sure what's causing this
Well,
gap down.
but it was after the close yesterday,
Oh, after the
so
close. Yes, makes
yeah,
sense.
so it makes sense. And you're
Yep.
right. Both Cisco, like SYSCO, the food services company, and Cisco, the telecommunication. You both of them only pop up when you have earnings. But anyways, this Cisco is the telecommunication one. They make routers and stuff. Anyways, they beat their numbers. So they had good earnings. The problem is in their earnings statement call, they said that their orders are declining. So basically, their backlog is declining, and they're seeing fewer orders being placed. So that's got some concern about the future quarter numbers that might happen, and whether they're going to be able to meet their forward-looking forecasts. So you can see that they're down 4% on some okay volume. Cisco's another one. You got to be very careful. Pick your spot with this one. I actually do like to watch Cisco. I find that it occasionally can give me a good trade, so it's probably going on my secondary list to watch for today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it could be a good secondary, but I'm with you all the way. It's a hit or miss with them. So CSCO on the secondary list for now. All right, we have another one on here is SEAT, SEAT, and this is 4.8 down this morning, 525,000 shares traded. Looks like we had some movement on in the last couple of weeks. Right on here, went up all the way to 9, almost 10. And it's just coming back down to reality. Not a whole lot of volume. Their biggest day here was 2.3 million shares. So something like this, guys, off the bat, I'm just not going to be interested in. And now that it's coming down, it's probably going to be even less volume than we had those 2 big days. So,
Yeah, and the news isn't great either. It's a secondary offering, which is why it's dropping even more.
all right. So yeah, so not even great there. So all right, we'll skip on that one. Let's head down over to STNE. We've seen this plenty of time on our list. It's not a great trader as far as intraday trading, so I kind of stay away from it. The volume really bad. Pre-market action to this morning doesn't look all that exciting. Has been rallying over the last couple of days, so you see that here since April. It's been doing pretty well, but again, it's just for day trading. It's just a pretty bad ticker. And for this, I'm not going to give them credit because you could have taken almost anything besides Amazon at the market open and you would have done well. Because, you had this huge move with the overall market. So plenty of tickers you can choose from that you did not have to sit on this one here for 50 cents, right? There was moves that were making $2 plus yesterday. So to the bench, I'm not going to put them on here at all. Let's look at FU to U. Keeps coming on our list. And what do we have here? These guys are,
And fu to you.
yeah. It's funny when I first said that, it was not intentional. It's just that's the way I read it. I have no idea why, and it's just stuck since then, and it's been the thing. So, uh,
It's fun
it is what
now.
it is. It's very fun now, but I remember it was so natural. Just read it like that for the first time. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, there you have it. Down 2.5 this morning, 186,000 shares traded. How did it do yesterday? I know yesterday, the day before they were gapping down. That's a horrible start, guys. Yesterday, look at that. You would have wasted a lot of time there. And the day before was a little bit better because that's when they had the big news. a little bit better, but man, it dies down really quickly. I think this is just going to go back to reality where it doesn't trade very well. Not going on the list today. All right, that covers our gap up and gap down list. Peter, I know you have some stuff on your end. What do you got this morning?
Chris is saying it's a common practice for New Yorkers. Or is that it? Or are you just being a New Yorker?
I was probably being a New Yorker. That's probably exactly what it was.
Is that? I've got a joke about that. Anybody want a joke? So that's what's
Yes, let's hear Peter's joke. We're
see
ahead
what
of time.
it's the difference between New Yorkers and those in California. See, in California, people will say good morning, and they really mean "f you." In New York, people will say "f you." They really mean good morning. So there you go.
A hundred
That's
percent, 100%. Let's give that. Let's give Peter a thumbs up for his joke this morning over on YouTube.
uh,
um,
there you
so
go. If everybody's been in both places,
I definitely been in both, and that is definitely true.
There
Another
you
thing
go.
that's true is our walking pace is very fast. So if I've been to the South and it was for a work related travel, and I was walking down the regular downtown. I think it was in Florida. I don't remember. But anyway, someone asked me, "Hey, are you from New York?" I'm like, "Yeah. How can you tell? Besides my look, whatever." He's like, "Oh, because you're walking too fast." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, slow down." Like, like
There you go.
it's just you got
Got it.
that pace, man. It's
Yeah,
wild. Um,
you're in a hurry.
oh
All
yeah,
right.
for some
Anyways, let's
reason,
get to some other stuff.
yeah,
Back to the markets here, but
yes.
fun
Let's get
one I
back to the
can do.
markets. Peter, anything
Yeah.
else you have on your list?
Yeah, absolutely. So we had some other earnings that I want to mention from this morning. Walmart had earnings, WMT. I know a lot of people watch that. Pretty good, actually. They beat their numbers and raised their guidance for the next quarter. So they don't tend to trade a lot pre-market. They're only up 1.7%, which is why they're not on a gappers list because they haven't even hit the 2% gap at this point. But it is moving upward on acceptable volume. I'll say not great, but it's okay. So that might be worth keeping an eye on. Baba had earnings as well, so I know we had a lot of the other Chinese stocks. They had a mixed report, missed on revenue, but beat on bottom line. So if you're watching it, they're actually moving fairly well pre-market. Again, not over the 2% gap mark, but they did gap up more earlier and have just come back down. So, but good volume there on Baba. So I think that's making my list just to keep an eye on. A couple that don't tend to trade well, but you might be interested in Dole. Dole. Again, missed revenue, surprise miss there for Dole, and beat on earnings. They don't tend to trade much volume at all pre-market, or it's not a great trading stock, but I just tend to watch it occasionally, at earnings really. And the other one, just because Brian likes to watch it, is Canada Goose, Goos. Smaller company, but Brian sometimes trades it in a room and watches it. So they beat their numbers as they typically do. They're very conservative in putting out their earnings. So beat their numbers again this quarter and are moving upwards slightly in the pre-market. So those are the ones that I had that didn't make the gappers.
All right, there you go. Guys, let's take it to the chat. See what you guys like this morning. We'll start here with both our chat rooms, YouTube, and also in our members tab. I see someone you guys throwing out Baba. Yeah, Baba actually yesterday as well. Another one that was not on my list, but someone did mention it in the chat room, and I looked at it, and it looked very, very nice. There you go. So there's your Baba from yesterday. Traded very, very well this morning, guys. I just realized the volume, 4.7. Oh, earnings
Yeah,
today. Yes, Baba has
earnings.
earnings
Yeah,
today. Yeah, yeah. Did you mention that? Sorry, I was probably typing
I
something.
did.
If you did, yeah.
I did.
Baba gonna add it to the list here. Looking good this morning, guys. 4.7. That's nice. Nice, definitely in play. Traded well yesterday also, so we'll see what happens here. All right, Jason, you're giving us a few there. I'm gonna take two here. Oh, actually, those are our usual suspects: Apple, Amazon, Nvidia, and Meta. And I have also in our YouTube chat someone doing the same thing: AMD, Amazon, Meta, Nvidia, and Tesla. Right? That is probably the core of our usual suspects list. And if we get anything like we did yesterday with the market trending in any direction, like it's somewhat doing now towards the opposite side of things, these stocks are going to do very well. They're going to follow suit, at least most of them, right? We saw Apple and Amazon be horrible yesterday, but doesn't mean that today they cannot trade very well. So let's take a look at Apple here. Again, just following the overall market. Let's take a look at Amazon. These are our usual suspects. Amazon, not really doing a whole lot, but they got the volume. So I'll add Amazon to a secondary. I like Apple today because it is following the overall market. I'll add that to our main list as well. Continue with our usual suspects here. We'll look at NVIDIA. Another one that alongside AMD can both be really good. AMD was just wild. Both of these were really nice yesterday. Look at the daily on AMD, by the way, guys. This stock was $80 just, what, 3 weeks ago? I mean, just insane. Sitting at 104 now. That's just wild. And every time I look at Meta's ticker, by the way, every time I look at this stock was sitting. I think the world was going to fall apart for Meta here back in November, and $91 went as low as probably 87, 88, and now 241. I mean, that recovery is just every time I look at it, I'm just wow by the way these guys came back here. Um, Meta right
Can
now, yeah, go ahead.
I was just looking at some stocks. You mentioned some of the old standbys. I was looking at AMD. Can you pull up an AMD chart for me? I want to see if
Yeah,
you're seeing the same thing. I got this maybe on a 1 minute chart, just for a second there on the
sure.
top or wherever. Yeah, see, look at that weird candle.
Oh yeah,
Look at
yeah,
it at 8 o'clock. You got this candle that's like hanging out. It's all wick, hanging out in the middle of nowhere. There actually is a body to it up here at 104.20, but anyways,
yeah.
okay. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't my chart. So some little shenanigans. 8 o'clock. We sometimes talk about this, by the way. We call that the tinfoil line because it's our
Yeah,
crackpot theory, but
yeah.
it tends to be a settlement of overnight orders. And you can see you get the 5 minute is the best place to see it, where you get the big wick, small body, tends to sometimes set a range for the day, and AMD may play within that range. But anyways, it's just weird 1 minute candle. I wanted to make sure
Yeah.
it wasn't my
It
charts.
is weird because sometimes when that happens, it stays within that one candle. It's like a drop and a pop, and you don't even see it move. It's just kind of recorded, right? It records the line. But here, it's happening over a 3 minute period, which is rather strange. So yeah, never seen that before. At least I haven't noticed it. Um, so yeah, speaking of AMD, guys, again, there are usual suspects are going to be good. I'm going to put AMD. Nvidia is going to be on my secondary list, right? Just going to leave room for anything else that can creep up on our gap up list, or even in the chat if you guys call something out, like you did Baba yesterday. Baba was very, very nice. So great stuff happening there. Meta. How about Meta? Meta, I'm not sure about Meta. It's moving here. Um, I don't know. Maybe a possible. We'll come back for me personally. AI is another one that was mentioned on both chats as well. So if we look at AI here, this one's dropping a little bit yesterday. Had a big day yesterday, like many stocks did. The issue with AI here, if we are going to have a sell off type day, you don't have shares for sure with interactive brokers. So that kind of puts you a little bit handicapped here. And aside from that, the bigger picture, this is a very risky stock to trade. So be very, very careful if you are going to be trading this one. Really mind your share size. But it is in play. I just don't see no shares for sure on it right now. So I might just keep this one off for the moment. Um, okay, let's see what else we have here. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. All right, I think we're set, guys. I mean, I have a lot on my secondary list that can move up very easily. I just got Baba, got Apple, and when I have Apple here, I'll think of AMD, Tesla, Nvidia, Amazon, and Meta, right? Our usual suspects. And one that we haven't looked at yet this morning that does trade very well with the market is Tesla. And look at the reaction we're getting now based on what the overall market is doing. I definitely want to have Tesla on our list. Look at the daily as well, right? So we're kind of slamming into this area of resistance, slightly above that this morning, getting back into that range. So I do like Tesla as well. So there we have it, guys. Towards the end, we can look at more tickers if we have anything else, and we'll fine tune this a little bit better later down the line. So let's go ahead to our community events and announcements. We'll come back and fine tune this list. Oh, Peter, you're on mute.
On mute.
There we
Hello.
go. Gotcha.
It's Thursday today, which means yesterday it was Wednesday, and we had our psychology webinar. So we'll talk about that in a second. Let's start at the beginning of the week so you know what the rundown is. Mondays we do our onboarding session with Mike and Megan. If you're new to the room, join that at 8 o'clock in the onboarding room. This coming Tuesday, we're going to be having Megan. Oh, that's changed. Oh no, it is Megan. That's not changed. I just did one this week, which is in the Education Center, and Megan is going to be doing next week on the power of options for day trading. So you mentioned yesterday she's going to be focusing, or at least looking at small accounts. So if you're interested in trading a small account, options are a great way to do that because you get significant leverage when you're trading options. Now that comes with risk, but as long as you manage the risk appropriately, you can actually trade very effectively. So she's going to talk about all of that and how you can use a small account for trading, because I know a lot of some people were asking her about that, especially those that aren't currently members. So if you're thinking of becoming a member, then now would be the time, so you can attend Megan's course next week. All right, on Wednesday, like I was mentioning, was psychology. Last night, Mike did his webinar on how to handle the fear of missing out. And then this coming Wednesday, on the 24th of May, we're going to have Dr. Randy Howell back with us on cracking the code for maintaining a disciplined mind. So, that's very important, because discipline is core if you're trading over the long term. And Randy's going to talk about that and how you can develop some skills to better manage your discipline. Thursday today is mentorship day, which means that John is going to be doing a mentorship session at 11, and Thor will be doing a mentorship session tonight at 8 o'clock. So attend both of those. They speak much better than I do, so and will not be fumbling over their words. So 11 o'clock with John, 8 o'clock with Thor, both in the mentorship room. Hopefully you will join them there to get all of your questions answered. It's Thursday, right? So go to tradingterminal.com and you can, get access to all of the scanners we've been talking about. During the course of the day, you can use scanners. You get insider information. You can look at a replay or simulator modules. There's just so much good information, let alone all your news. And then use the Squawk feature, which gives you live updates. You can have the guys sort of talking to you about what the news is, and you can get the news the fastest that way, especially when there's breaking news. So use tradingterminal.com. Somebody was just asking about Andrew, and I haven't heard anything new. Was looking at social media this morning because it's supposed to be either today, or I think it's actually overnight tonight for us, which would be early tomorrow morning for him, when he's trying to make that summit attempt. So right now he's probably at base camp 4, which means he definitely doesn't have internet and he is probably just huddling in the cold trying to stay warm. So waiting for that move up the up the mountain for that final push. So fingers and toes crossed that that it's going to make it work. Leon, I don't think he's. We never heard back from Elon, so about getting that satellite connection from the top of the mountain. So I'm sure with all of the weather issues and trouble, the risk they've had up there, he's probably been talked out of taking a trade. It might be a little bit too high risk of a scenario. So safety first. We want him back more than we want a trade at the top of Everest. So, anyways, once he's back is probably when we'll know, right, whether that summit attempt was successful or not. Between now and then, we just have to wait and see. It's probably true too, Matt, right? That battery wouldn't survive the cold temperatures, I imagine. So you'd have to have a pretty hardy device. Anyways, if you want to join us here at Bear Bull Traders, as always, you can see our packages. Use codes premarket24 or Mount Everest if you want the annual deal. In between, we've got a couple of monthly deals you can take advantage of. So check them out. Hopefully we'll see you in the room. We love new traders. It's a great community, frankly. You really get good people who are trading all sorts of different things with all sorts of different strategies. One of the things that we sort of pride ourselves on is you hear Carlos and I, we have favorite stocks because we're going to be talking about stocks from our perspective, what fits with our trading strategy. But there are dozens of different strategies and approaches to the market that people use in the room. Some trade low floats. Obviously, we have options. People trading futures. Thor, I think, is out there trading different mechanisms right at the open with Brian. We don't dictate how you trade. It's really about sharing ideas and information on the market. So hopefully you'll join us at some time in the community. Check us out. All right. I think we're back on time, so let's set some
Yeah.
levels, and
Yeah.
we'll see how things are going. And if we got a little time at the end, we can always fill it.
Absolutely. All right, guys, let's take a look here. We have Baba, Apple, AMD, and Tesla. Let's do levels for that now. And then we can look at what else is moving here. I see Walmart starting to heat up, so maybe we'll add this to the list. But let's see what's going on with the stuff we have here. So here's Baba, guys. We remove some of these levels. Traded very, very well yesterday. Earnings this morning, so they're actually getting great volume, 5.2 million shares traded. So I expect this one to actually do some good stuff today. Low of the pre-market sitting at an 88.52, the high sitting at 93.74 at the moment. And then here, I want to mark this level to 88.92, right? So here's our low of our pre-market being created by this week here. But I also want to mark down where we saw a lot of support happening, which is going to be 88.93, right? A little closer to 90. So you see that area there. You definitely want to have that down. So just kind of coming back to the previous day close here, went as high as 93, pretty good there. Now back down. So that's almost a $3 move there. Yeah, it's definitely very, very active this morning. Towards the bottom, if we look at the bigger picture, towards the bottom, you have your highs and lows of the last two trading days. So you're set towards the downside. Do not need to add anything there. I'm going to look to the top of this, above this 93.74. And look how great that level is playing out. This 93.74 coming right to the area of
So
support. It doesn't get cleaner and better than that. So there you have it, that 93.74. Not up there just for no reason. There is some method to the madness here. 92.04, another area I want to have down because we do have a nice support that we had here. Beautiful bounce off of that. This stock opened up, slammed down to 92.04, and then shot back up. So that's a great level to have on there. Great support happening there. We'll see if that plays out today in any form as we get going. So above the 93.74, in case we really get going, it's going to be 95.55. And then you also have up here is an area around 97.23. And I think that's plenty for the top here. If we're going to continue with this type of movements, that can be a possibility today on Baba. Here is an Apple. So Apple, let's remove some of the stuff. We're continuing. Just again, we've been moving. We moved somewhat decent yesterday, not at the beginning. It got better, but we're just still stuck within this range, right? We just can't seem to get out of that. The few times that we have, either put our toes in the water here or peek our head over, we come right back to the range again, and we're in that range one more time for Apple. 172.22 is the low of the pre-market, the high is slamming against the highs from yesterday, so you're covered there. And I think you don't need to add much on this. I'm going to add maybe 174. But the big thing is breaking out of this range and what opportunities we can get for Apple. So we'll leave that there. That is all set. Here's AMD, guys. Look at the daily on AMD. As I mentioned earlier, just a beautiful, beautiful run here over the last couple of weeks. The beginning of May, this thing has been doing very, very nice. And I remember this because I missed a couple of good days. I was off, and Peter was taking all the goodness here on AMD, and I was not able to join the party. But AMD doing pretty good there. High of the pre-market, 104.86 towards the bottom. Highs and lows, we're only going to mark down 101. Everything else, previous day close. The last two trading days got you covered. I'm going to look at something above 104 in case we do decide to go higher here. We'll have to go back to maybe May, June, a time frame of 2022. And we're going to slam a level at 106.29. And over here at a 108. 33. Again, that would be a stretch, but if we did anything like yesterday, anything is possible. Towards the up or downside, just the overall range the market gave us yesterday gave us a lot of opportunities on stock that really we've been quiet for the last couple of days as we've been moving sideways with the overall market. Here's Tesla, 2.1 million. So we got some good volume here. Towards the top, we do have 177.38. High of the pre-market will be 176.14. So we'll put a level a little bit higher, more like here. We'll put a level there and get rid of this one. There we go. And I think you're set here. I don't think you need to add anything. Highs and lows for the last two trading days. Previous day close is covering your low of the pre-market this morning. In between this level here, right? You got a nice level here based on the highs and lows of the last two trading days and the previous day close. Maybe we add one right over here because I do see a couple of days opening and closing right around this area, right? So you got at least this one and this one here. So maybe that plays a part in the action if we do drop below the previous day close. But outside of that, Tesla, you're all set here. Getting better trading days. Look at the candles here getting nicer as we move forward. And then our possibles list, we got tons. I'm not going to go through them because I think this is a really good list today. But you got Nvidia. So I won't do levels for this stuff, but Nvidia, Amazon, and we have Meta and also Cisco on here on earnings. Ooh, Cisco losing the low of the day here, guys. Dropping now 5%. You know what? Today could be the day. This is the sleeper for today, guys. Cisco. That is the sleeper. And I
Could be.
and I'm not saying sleeper because it's not in play. It is in play. It's a sleeper for me because normally I wouldn't trade this. I wouldn't watch it. But today, I think today's the day. So let's see. Low of the pre-market, 45.11. High of the pre-market, 46. We have a level at 45.54. That is where we had a little bit of support here in the pre-market. Lost that just a couple of minutes ago. We just need the volume, man. Just need the volume to come in and move this thing around. We can probably get some great opportunities. Towards the top, highs and lows for the last 2 trading days. And if I go to the left here, do we have something below 45.11? Yeah, nice level here, 44.57. And that's all you need for our buddy Cisco. Excellent. There you have it. Peter, anything else on your end that might have crept up that you liked this morning?
Look, not from no new stocks.
Yeah.
We've covered them all.
All right. Excellent. Guys, we go ahead, Peter.
I do have a public service announcement though, because in the room we were talking about my drinking habits, and of course everybody's eager to get me to drink, when things pass. We're using the
Yes.
term shot, and I've been going with it because it's just a good shorthand to talk about me taking a drink at a certain point.
Mhm.
I will just ask everybody as a Scotch lover, don't do shots of Scotch.
Not at
It's
least
a
a good
waste
one.
of Scotch.
Yeah.
Not good or bad Scotch. Don't do. There's alcohol that's meant to be consumed as quickly as possible because you don't want it in your mouth. Scotch is meant to be savored. So where we're using the term, I'm just asking
Yeah.
everybody, just please don't do shots of Scotch.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's your lesson for the day on how to consume your favorite scotch, friends. Um, Excellent. Guys, I think we're all set. Let's get to our moderators list. I'm waiting for a few more to come out here, and then I'll bring that list over to you guys. If you haven't done so already on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it. We're sitting at 99, 100 there just now. Thank you for that. But if you could help us get to 150, the last 2 days, man, hitting 145 on the last 2 days. We just cannot break this 150. But hopefully by the end of the week, actually that's tomorrow. So hopefully by tomorrow we can break
Yeah.
150.
One of the things, if while you're waiting for some of
Yeah,
those to come in, let's talk about indicators for just a second, since we have a
sure.
minute. Because there was another conversation that was happening a few minutes ago in a room, and this is what I love about the room is that we get all sorts of different conversations going on, and you get to learn new things. But people were talking about advanced decliners or volume, right? Hey, my volume bar is showing the buys versus sells. I am really not a fan of volume bars that divide volume into buy and sell. It's completely misleading. This is just Peter's opinion, but bear with me for a second. You got to be cautious with that because one of the things that like Paris teaches in the room, for example, he basically manages his whole trading off of understanding what the buy and sell volume is doing, and he does that by watching the tape, right? The actual orders come through. Where is there resistance and support? Where is he seeing more orders being transacted? The problem with those buy and sell bars is they basically say if an order is transacted at the bid, then it's a buy. If it's transacted at the ask, it's a sell, and it just automatically, right? The computer puts it into those buckets. The risk with that is that, in my opinion, it's completely inaccurate. Who knows if something is actually why is it a buy? At the bid. I mean, there's always a buyer and a seller on every single transaction. Maybe somebody's desperate to get out of position, and someone says, "Hey, I'm only going to buy at $100," and someone says, "Fine, I'll meet your price," and they're selling because they're desperate to get out of it, and someone's happy to buy it up. So, which is that, a buy or a sell? Well, you got two motivated people that are happy to transact at that price. So, I would just say, if you're using indicators, be critical in your thinking. Make sure you understand the indicator and use it the way it's intended, because not all data is information. The markets are great at serving us, like, as you know, there's a million studies you can put on your charts. It doesn't mean they're all valuable to you and your trading. Understand how they should be used and use them appropriately. So there you go. There's my
Yeah.
thought for the morning.
No, no, great thought and great information, man. 100% agree with you there. Um, guys, here it is. Someone says Paris is doing witchcraft with his trading. No, Paris is a great trader, and he dreams about trading. I remember when you guys remember that time he had a dream about trading. He actually did very well. So yeah, he's on another level there. Friends, watch list for today. We have started with Rafsila, my friend, Tesla, AMD, AI, and Walmart with earnings today. I don't have that one on my list, but that could be one you can put on yours as well. Tesla, the Qs, overall SPY for Susan. She also has Amazon, Nvidia, and Apple. Peter, you're looking at AMD, Apple, and Tesla. List of our some of our usual suspects there. Secondary list: Baba, Walmart, and Cisco this morning. All three of those at the bottom there with earnings today. So nice earnings secondary list for Peter. IPOs, you got a couple here: AZTR and MGRM for this morning. So, or for today at least. All right, there you have it, friends. That is our list for this morning. Just to recap, we do have Baba on here looking very good for earnings. Apple is getting tons of volume. AMD as well did very well yesterday. We have Tesla also with good volume today. And we have Cisco on the earnings play. And you have tons of really good other opportunities like Meta. I got Cisco twice. We'll get rid of this here. Let's get rid of this. Here we go. And I have BBWI, which again, it's more of entertainment stock there. See what happens. TTWO earnings as well. Just a lot of earning plays that can provide some opportunities today, hopefully. Guys, trade safe. We'll see you tomorrow to end the week on Friday, 9:30 a.m. Did we hit 150? No, we did. 124. That's okay. We'll take it. But if you haven't done so, last chance to hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Have an amazing trading day.
Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow.